All right, everyone. Thank you for joining Webinar Wednesday here with RPI Consultants. Today we have a webinar talking about migrating to Kofax TotalAgility from Kofax Transformation and Kofax Capture. We're going to talk about some of the latest versions and features of Kofax Transformation and Kofax Capture and how those translate into Kofax TotalAgility and what different features you get from Kofax TotalAgility versus Transformation and Kofax Capture. Don't forget to join us for some of our other upcoming webinars and office hours that we have next month. And we have the Perceptive Enhancement Pack 2 upgrade to discuss all of the features that come with that upgrade. We have another webinar making OnBase and Infor work together. And then in August, we have Upgraded Process Director 7.8 to talk about all the features of that upgrade. Additionally, we have some great office hours where we do some hands-on work. We have another rendition of Perceptive and ImageNow iScripts, which is a really good one. And then we have a new one with Microsoft Power Automate Flow, so you can take advantage of your existing investment in Office 365 and some of the automation tools that come with that. So today, my name is Chad Tucker, Manager of Solution Engineering. I have over 10 years experience in process automation. Formerly a developer and system administrator, was in the Marines, and I'm looking forward to the beach this weekend.
Hello everyone, my name is Alan Sheffers. I live here in California. I'm a golfer and a hockey fan. I was first certified in Kofax Capture way back in 2006 when it was Ascent Capture and before KTM. And I also have some knowledge of OnBase and Yoga. And in today's agenda, we're going to basically go over what the newest versions of Kofax Capture and some of the features and also transformation. And then Chad's going to talk about Kofax TotalAgility capabilities and features, the Move Up program that Kofax is offering, and some of the migration considerations and plannings. And then if you guys have any questions, we'll go over any questions and have a brief summary. So the latest information on Kofax Capture. Kofax Capture, as you all know, is a leading capture platform that basically does data capture, classification, extraction. It can do barcodes, handprint, OMR, OCR, any kind of extraction that you would need. It has a very tight integration with any kind of electronic documents through the use of the Kofax import connector. So we can grab emails, web service calls, XML, mobile devices, faxes, if people still have fax machines out there. It also provides exports to your basic full range of ECM products, your ERPs, and your business process management and workflow solutions. So they've got all the bases covered there. The current version of Kofax Capture is Kofax Capture 11.0.1, Service Pack 1, Fix Pack 1. And this first came out in the latest releases as of October of 2009. I believe it was the 10th. And some of the newer features, it allows you to do administrative login audits, so you can see who's been work batch classes. There's a separate database now for the user tracking statistics to run your reports, so it doesn't interfere with the size of your basic capture database. There's a batch class versioning that is new. There's some security boost enhancements for your Active Directory and single sign-on. They added a scan settings tab for the scanner in the scan interface, and also the QC module, and also the validation module. And there's also some general enhancements for the VRS software, which is 5.1, I believe, VRS Elite. And they updated the AbbVie FineReader OCR engine also. And Kofax doesn't really have any plans of discontinuing Kofax Capture and going strictly to KTA. Good. So Kofax Transformation, everyone knows that it's a add-on to Kofax Capture, and it does a lot of the heavy lifting for your extraction and your classification. It uses a lot of machine learning and artificial intelligence to perform that work. It also improves the information visibility by use of the validation form is customizable. So you can add tabs, you can add buttons, you can do pretty much anything you want with the validation form, which wasn't the case in original Kofax validation. You can also reduce document classification, separation, and data entry costs by using the trainable document separation, and you can also have trainable document extraction also. So you can, as you're processing documents, the software will learn basically, and the next time you extract or separate that document, you'll have better results as you go. There's also, you of course do increase productivity by not having to manually validate or keying from image anymore. And they've also increased data quality for if you use the search and matching server, which is a out-of-the-box solution for configuring your data lookups in your validation. So the current version of KTM is 6.3, Service Pack 1, Fix Pack 6, and this was released last month on the 15th, so it's fairly new. And some of the newer enhancements in this release, it does do natural language processing, so you can tell the sentiment in the text. They did do, there is an enhanced barcode engine. There's a new fuzzy search database that you can use, which is much quicker. And they added a new address locator for finding vendor addresses on documents or customer addresses. And Kofax also doesn't have any plans on discontinuing KTM either in the near future. So one of the use cases here at RPI we've done a lot of is invoice processing. Here's an example of a KTM validation form that we designed. So if you look at the upper left-hand corner, it extracts the PO number and then does a lookup, and it tries to match whether the PO is from that specific customer to grab the vendor information, and below that is where it extracts the invoice information, as you can see under the invoice tab here. It also does line item extraction, which is on the next tab.
One of the things I really like about this form, Alan, is that you know, we have the OCR results of the right next to the fields, you know, so that you can see exactly without having to go all the way over to the invoice image. You can see right there on the field, next to the field, where it pulled that off the document. So, you know, if it mistransposed a 0 for an O or a 5 for an S or a 1 for an I, you know, you can easily see what's on the image and correct that without having to search for it on the invoice. I think it's a pretty cool feature of this form.
And the second tab is the line item information that is returned from a lookup that we did to the customer's ERP system. So if the totals match, basically we do a line item, and if the totals match, then this tab automatically turns green, and it will be exported to their ERP system as an invoice, posted invoice.
Great. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the features of Kofax TotalAgility and kind of how they compare to what you just saw in Kofax Capture and Transformation, how they translate into TotalAgility, and what additional features that Kofax TotalAgility has. So, you know, we talked about how Kofax Capture has the scan and import, Kofax VRS, Kofax transformation, all these connectors for exporting your data out. Well, that continues to live on in Kofax TotalAgility, right? You still have all those same features, but they're integrated into a platform that has other features such as web and mobile ready forms, process orchestration, dynamic case management, business rules, and continue to have out-of-the-box third-party integrations that are either web service based, exporting of flat files, XML, CSVs, inserting into databases, what have you there. The other add-on things about Kofax TotalAgility that make it unique between Kofax Capture is that as an intelligent automation platform, you can add these boxes you can agree, and you can add RPA into it. You can add electronic signature. You can add the mobile and web SDKs all as part of a single integrated platform rather than having all different tools for different items. So we're going to talk a little bit more about your process orchestration, your case management, and the business rules, which is really one of the main additions that KTA brings to the Kofax capture and transformation world. And this is all done through low code or no code type of configuration. I'm going to show you a little bit what the process designer looks like to build these this process orchestration and business process workflows. The other thing that KTA brings is a multi-tenant model. So if you're a large organization that has several different business units that may need to be segregated from one another for legal reasons, or maybe you're a BPO type organization and you want to be able to provide AP as a service to your different organizations, KTA can have this multi-tenant model so that you can have one platform with multiple different tenant users in it. And then lastly, KTA is all web-based, right? So the only thing that's still not web-based is your transformation designer, because of the type of configuration and programming that's needed to be done there. But everything else, from the way that users interact in the system, using from both a scan and capture standpoint, the validation form, going into the case management aspect, the analytics, it's all web driven, so it's very easy to deploy. And it's important in today's kind of environment where you have people working from home, and you have to be able to provide these work solutions to them in a manner that's easy to deploy, that you don't have to have a VPN or you have to install thick client software. So it makes it very easy to enable your remote workers to work via the thin client. So the cognitive capture aspect of it, Alan touched on this a little bit, that some of this comes with capture and transformation, but some of what Kofax continues to add to the cognitive capture of TotalAgility, one of the newest features is sentiment analysis, to be able to tell whether there's a good or bad or happy or sad kind of sentiment to a piece of text. The other thing they've added in the natural language processing is entity recognition. So be able to read a document and say, okay, here's all the names in a document, or here's all the currency references in a document, or here's every time indemnification was mentioned in a document. So being able to read a document and determine not only being able to read the contents of the document, but be able to understand what's in the document through sentiment analysis and entity recognition is a pretty neat feature that they're adding to what they call the AI, the AI portion of cognitive capture. And these documents coming in, Kofax TotalAgility has what's called omni-capture capability. No matter where you're getting information from, paper, fax, mobile devices, documents being scanned in from MFPs or being coming in through email, you're reading from a database, you're using RPA to scrape website and portals, you can get information from any source. It is completely, there's no source that you can't ingest information from. But once you ingest that information, you need to understand it, and that's where the machine learning, the document classification, the entity recognition, the sentiment analysis, being able to classify that document information and then extract relevant results out of that information and validate it against your backend systems. Same thing that you're kind of used to in KC, KT, but just enhanced by the continued R&D that Kofax is putting into the automation information platform. Lastly, once you do all this, you're going to integrate it with your ERM, CRM, line of business systems as you are today. And again, there's no limitation there, whether it's via web services, that you can configure in the process orchestration mechanism, whether it's, writing database calls, whether it's dropping flat files, or even using RPA to input directly in the portals if there is no API available. As well as Kofax TotalAgility has omni-capture, it also has omni-export in the way that we can integrate with other backend systems. So you really are opening up your ability to integrate by using this IA platform. So this is probably a familiar screen for some folks that are used to using capture, but you can see here this is all completely web-based capture to do all your batch processing, document classification, doc typing, maybe some folder level indexing here. But this is all web-based capture, no thick client needed for the cognitive capture. The next thing that's really important that I've been talking about a lot with KTA is process orchestration. So the ability to have case management and have documents live through a life cycle that's driven by business rules from your, that you need to adhere to, whether it's, legal business rules or to make sure that, you have certain SLAs that you have to meet. Kofax TotalAgility with this process orchestration tool is able to add that layer into your capture platform. So instead of having to just do capture and transformation and then send it on to your line of business systems or other workflow systems, kind of like you are today, you kind of have this all in a single place so that you eliminate the number of integrations, you have capture throughout the entire portion of the process. So say there's processes where you have driver documents to start a process, but later on you have to capture additional documentation. You're able to continue to add the classification, continue to add the document transformation and data extraction in the middle of the process instead of just at the front end of the process. And then also integrating it with the other intelligent automation tools like the e-signature, RPA, all working across the organization to provide a consistent process, driven by whatever the requirements are. So really excited about adding this into the capture and transformation ecosystem and having this as part of the entire platform. The process orchestration, you can see it's very drag and drop workflow style type configuration. So this is what we mean by no low code. The low code aspect is maybe you have to do some conditions, right? If some simple if this then that kind of statements, or maybe some regular expressions, but you don't have to code all this logic. You can drag and drop and just have kind of true false kind of checks, decision points that if this condition is true, then do this. If it's false, then do this, and continue to have those scouts, those activities happen in the process, whether it's doing scanning at the beginning of the process or doing scanning in the middle or at the end of a process. You can incorporate document classification, document extraction anywhere, not just as a single standalone item anymore. Here's where you'd be able to also drop in RPA integration, the document signature integration, or any of our pre-built connectors that we have that Kofax and we have for KTA. And also you're able to find pre-built connectors on the Smart Hub as well that Kofax has. So there's a lot of great tools that's being built for Kofax TotalAgility and to make it easier to integrate with existing systems today that you don't have to build out of the box. Lastly, the thing that I wanted to show about Kofax TotalAgility is the out of the box analytics. So on top of having one of the important things about having process orchestration inside of your capture platform is that now you're able to monitor the work activities that are happening a little easier and able to report on those using Kofax Analytics. So here we have a sample dashboard where we're showing, session time by user, right? This can be any type of activity that's going on, from classifications, your typical document classification and extraction activities, or maybe their case management activities where they have it open and they're working on an item. You can see how long it's sitting in certain queues, how long it's sitting in certain work activities, how many are being processed, and this is an out-of-the-box kind of dashboard that comes with Kofax TotalAgility. So you get a lot of great insight into your processes that you're building without having to do customization to a report to get that information. It's being dynamically built based on the processes that you're building. So having insightful analytics across the entire platform, I think, is another great feature that Kofax TotalAgility brings that is different than Kofax Capture and Transformation. Some additional benefits. You have more granular security for capture and extraction process activities. And the reason this is important is that maybe you want to expand your document capture outside of AP that you're using it for today. You want to capture HR documents. You want to capture medical records documents through the software that you already have. Well, being able to add granular security allows you to be, fall in line with HIPAA requirements. It allows you to fall in line with your internal PHI requirements, so that you can say, okay, only HR users can access, this portion of the process and do these kind of scan documents. Only medical record staff can access this portion of it. So having this more granular security for your capture and extraction process activities allows you to be able to expand this platform across other business areas than maybe just AP across the enterprise. The true BPM and case management in a single application is like I've talked about already, is a huge benefit, that you don't have to send all this data and integrate it to another third-party system. Sometimes data gets lost in those integrations. Sometimes, if one of those systems upgrades, you have to backport certain items to capture a transformation to make it work for this other system. So having this consolidating to a single system for your capture and your case management just kind of alleviates that burden of having multiple platforms. And then the true benefit is just access to the intelligent automation platform. Like the other other add-ons that you can have for RPA, the e-signature, and the content creation platform is just going to help you automate further, gives you the opportunity to automate other things in your business that you may not be thinking about automating today just using Kofax Capture and Kofax Transformation.
So the Kofax TotalAgility Move Up program, Kofax wanted to give its capture users and its transformation users a way to, not inexpensively, but a way to enjoy the benefits of KTA. And one of the key considerations is they're giving 70% off KTA licenses. And it allows them to access the intelligent automation platform. You do have to trade in your existing licenses, but the nice thing about it is they give you a full year to use both products. So you can take your time and develop your KTA software so that it captures everything that you're doing already in KTM and Capture, but also you can explore some of the other benefits that it might give you. So what is the timing and eligibility? To be eligible, you just have to be current, basically, on your Kofax Capture and Transformation maintenance, also for the eFlow, ReadSoft documents, forms, and Xbound. You shouldn't have. It doesn't apply to purchases you just did as of April 1st. Anything before then would be eligible. And you have to migrate your whole system. It can't be just a part. If you have multiple licenses, it has to be for all of the licenses that you want for Capture and KTM.
So some migration planning and considerations that you have to think about with KTA. One of the biggest ones to consider is the environment that you have. So KTA does have generally a bigger technical footprint than Kofax capture and transformation. So to be able to have all these different things, it's typically broken out into your web tier, your app tier, and your data tier. So web tier, runs the customer facing side of things. Your end users are going to see what your process guys are going to see, what your if you have external facing clients that are using this, they're going to see everything on the web tier. So depending on the size of your system, size of your footprint, the volume of what you're using this for, you have to consider, potentially one or multiple load balance servers, on the web tier. Same thing on the app tier. It has a process orchestration component now that is pretty robust. On top of the transformation service, you have your import export services, your reporting services. So depending on, again, size and volume of what you're running, you may have to consider multiple load balanced application servers to run these different components. So what could be a single or two server environment that you're running today in Kofax capture and transformation could expand into a 4 or 5 server environment to run all the components. So it is flexible, right? If you do have a small implementation, you could still potentially run everything on a single server pending port contention and things like that. But part of what we help do in our migration assessment that we're going to talk about here in a little bit is help architect what it would look like for you to move up from capture and transformation to total agility.
So the KC and the KT project migration, there is a tool that is offered in KTA that will migrate your current KTM project for the classification and extraction sets. And some of your documents will probably have to be retrained. And there are some tweaks to the projects that may need to be moved for the most part. And there are some new automation features that you might want to consider during the migration.
Yep. So, as part of the migration assessment, we want to make sure is a migration right for you, right? Are you upgrading in 2020? Your version of Kofax capture. Maybe it's time to assess whether migrating is right for you instead of upgrading to the latest version. Have you expanded your Kofax capture and transformation usage over the years, and your business is heavily reliant on it. So there's a lot of things to consider. Is it right for you? And RPI is happy to provide, a migration assessment engagement to map out what a migration look like from a technical architecture standpoint, a services standpoint, and kind of what a cost benefit analysis would look like of going from KCKT to KTA. So that's it for high level content of migrating. We appreciate you joining here. This webinar has been recorded, and we're going to put it online on our webinar website. Any further questions about migrating or wanted to talk to someone about KTA or the challenges and opportunities of migrating, go ahead and email us at rpi@rpic.com. And we're going to pause here for a moment and take any questions that we have from the presentation. Mike, I'm assuming there's no questions.
Yep, none are coming in. We can go ahead and move on.
Okay. Additional resources, like I said, we have a page dedicated to webinars. We have a product and solution knowledge base that we post videos and blog articles to, and then our Kofax website for our Kofax services and solutions. And again, don't forget about our upcoming webinars and office hours that we have this month and next month. And just a little bit more about RPI Consultants. Not only do we work with Kofax, we're also a Highland authorized solution provider, Infor Cloud Suite Alliance partner, and have over 100 full-time consultants out of Baltimore, Tampa, Kansas City, and across the United States that provide technical and professional services on all the products that we are vendor partners for. Thanks again for joining, and we look forward to seeing you in our future webinars.
Thank you.